Hello guys, now we will continue with the lists, Python lists. As you see, I went in this website w3schools.com that explains you pretty well the Python language. Okay, so the aim of the list is to store multiple items in a single variable. This is very used and we will use it a lot in our project. So in order to define a list, you have to make this assignment. For example, I copy it in my code. Okay, I defined another this list here, but let's start with this. So I created another .py file here, and here you see that I don't import nothing because these are basics function that are already implemented in our libraries, so I don't have to import nothing. So in order to print the list content, I have to print out in this way. And you see that the console print the list with this format. Okay. When we print the type of my list, you see that this is a class list, so it is an object of the class list. So as I explained you last time, everything in Python is an object of different classes. So this is an object of a class list. So what are the features of the list? For example, I can overwrite it. To comment out the code, you have to place the asterisk at the beginning. Now I have overwritten my list, and let's see what happens. Run. Okay, now you see that my list is overwritten, so it's no more apple, banana, cherry, but is 5, 6, 7. I can change the content of my list as well. In order to access the different elements of my list, I have to write my list, and in square brackets I have to write the index that I want to manage. So this, for example, refers to the second element because the numeration starts from 0. So this is element 0, element 1, element 2. So I want to modify my second element. Instead to 6, I want to place it equal to 5. Let's see what happened. And you see now that my second element is 5. So list items, so list elements, are ordered, changeable, and allow duplicate values. So for example, I can place the fourth element equal to 5. And you see that I have 3 elements with the same value. Okay. So they are ordered items, so you cannot change the order of my items. Okay, so let's place the list again like it was. For example, I want to add a further element. Here there are only 3 elements. I want to add the 4th element, and I would make like this in my mind. Okay. I want to add as 4th element the 7 value. You see that it's not possible because the list assignment index is out of range. So once you define your list, you can make this statement, so list name square brackets equal to something, only for modifying the existing elements. You cannot add another element. To add another element, we must use a method that we find here. You have to use the append method. So for example, as 4th element I want to add orange. And it's appended at the end of the list. So each time you call the .append method, you will append the element at the end of the list. We will look into methods in the next lessons, but you have to know that in order to add elements to our list, we have to use the .append and the value of the element that I want to add, and it will be added at the end of the list. Okay, so in order to add an element in a desired position that is different from the end position, you have to use this method. Okay, but in our project is not used, so I only show you to complete this topic, but it's not used. So for example, I want to add apple in the second position. So you see that in the second position I have apple, so here is 1, but is the second because it starts from 0. So as you see in the list, I can have multiple types of objects, so I can have also a list into another list, no problem. So there are no limitation. For example, I can create list 2 equal to 1.23, and I can append the first list. So when I print out the new list, list 2, when I append the first list I created, you see that I have 1, 2, 3, which is my list 2 as I defined here, but at the end of this list 2 I append this list, which is the list with these values, and I append it at the end. So at the end of my list 2 I have another list, so I have 3 objects of class int plus an object of class list. Okay, so thank you, and let's continue next time with the dictionaries.